Welcome to The Art of Being Safe with Cherie and Rosalia. This is a show where we explore what it truly means to feel safe enough to create, think, and evolve. Because safety isn't just about protection, it's about permission. The permission we give ourselves in all areas of our lives. Permission to imagine, to rebuild, to detox what no longer serves us. I'm Rosalia Bañuelos, co-founder of Creatopia Inc. At Creatopia, we are centered on exploring the relationship between safety, whether it's physical, emotional, or mental, and creativity. We know that without safety, our brain is not capable of creating original thought. With a decade of experience as a mental health practitioner, I've been able to navigate safety and its experience in many ways, and I'm happy to apply it every day at our startup.
Thank you. And I'm Cherie, founder of the Wellness Trifecta, a framework in self-development, clean choices, and daily habits. After 36 years of my own wellness journey, through my body, mind, and soul, environment, and holistically overcoming ulcerative colitis, PTSD, and panic attacks, I guide others to question the wellness industry, trust themselves again, and build sustainable health from the inside out, one choice at a time. And together, we unpack how the environment we live in, the thoughts we carry, and the systems we move through shape the lives we're able to design. So let's get started.
So this is our first episode. This is our introductory.
So exciting.
So today we'll just be discussing kind of how we got to know each other and why this all started and setting the guideline to what we'll be discussing this month. When did we meet? I think we were trying to think of when.
I think it was like 7 years ago through some yoga festival local in Houston. And I think we were both involved in some drum circle stuff that had connected us back then. Right. And then I know that I felt like we also connected through some mental health stuff as well, because you were doing hypnosis back then and I had come to you for some sessions and we had kind of flowed through that.
Totally forgot about that.
Yeah. And then after the lockdown opened up, you had started reaching out to me, and I was busy that last year unpacking and creating this format of a business. Mm-hmm. And then when I got done building my website and all the rabbit holes I went down on non-toxic and different things, then I was reaching out to you to create something together, but in a meditation realm.
Right, right.
So we were both watching
in
each
the
other.
Same spheres for 7 years,
mm-hmm.
which I think is symbolic.
Yeah.
And I actually reached out because Creatopia, we've moved where we've been live streaming for. This is our third location. We're streaming out of downtown Houston, 801 Travis, and we're actually connected. I mean, the reason that we got to this space was because of our great friend Jesse Martinez, who runs Invincible, and Invincible has 4 pillars, and this is why I reached out to you. The 4 pillars are sustainability, programming, events, and funding. So you being what is your trifecta called? What is your Instagram page called? Sorry.
My Instagram is Cherie Marie,
uh-huh.
which is my name. Mm-hmm. And then the Wellness Trifecta is the self-development, clean choices, and creating that in your daily lives.
Yeah.
So, but pre-lockdown, I was talking about things around sustainability more too.
Right. And I remember you really speaking to zero waste and mm-hmm. how to live a zero waste lifestyle. And we've been wanting to bring that into the discussion of sustainability, right? What does it really mean for us to be sustainable, and how do we put that into practice every day? And so I remember that you were already doing that, and you already talking about how to be zero waste. So I was like, I need to talk to her more, and so that's why we're here, and we're starting our own podcast. And we've been as Creatopia, we've done other podcasts with other people, and I'd been interviewing a different person every week, and that was just time consuming. And I think that we can really get in and go deep into what it means to be sustainable, right? And how you and I can really develop that conversation, because we just can talk for hours.
Naturally do. Yes. Yes.
So that's how we got started. Let's see what else. We do have some just a disclaimer.
Disclaimer, just a little disclaimer. We are both have been in Houston, Texas for a very long time. So we've developed, I'm going to say, personally speaking, I've developed more, I can have a social charm to me, or a Southern charm to me. However, we're both from Illinois. So we have a very Midwestern way of handling things as well, which
Yes.
can be a little bit more direct and a little bit more kind of
Blunt.
blunt.
We just like to say things how it is. You
Yeah,
know?
so you're going to get both aspects of us, for sure. So that was just like a pre-disclaimer that we wanted to let people know about us.
Yes.
And how we're blended in that together. So
Yeah, and that connection of what it, because I mean, I was born in Mexico, but we moved to Illinois when I was 7 and grew up in Illinois and in the Midwest. And if you are from the Midwest or have been around the Midwest, you know it's definitely a vibe, and you know that, I mean, southern U.S. is also a vibe.
yes.
And how awesome that we kept running into each other, but we just discovered that we had these similarities
Right.
of growing up. As our family, I'm the youngest of 9, so a very large immigrant, low income family. I grew up in, and that just really allowed me to be very resourceful and very resilient, you know. And I think that is something, the more I think about it, that keeps showing up in my life, especially right now, especially like figuring out how to be sustainable and how we define sustainability. But I keep going back to that. Like there's stuff that's like, oh, I was doing that when I was younger, and people are thinking that it's like a new thing right now. And I know that you like had similar experiences too. If you want to speak to that.
Well, I mean, for me growing up in my childhood, we didn't tend to have a lot of money, and I grew up in an alcoholic house, so there was like that traumatic stuff going on as well. For those of you who have experienced being in a dysfunctional home or an alcoholic home, you understand what I'm talking about. But then we also had this aspect where we had a garden and we were drinking raw milk, and my dad hunted, so a lot of the meat that we ate was from him hunting. And then we would buy from local farmers. We recycled for money. This is how the kids, I have 2 other siblings, so this is one of the ways that we earned money, is by recycling cans. And and back then I thought it was because of the dynamic that we were in. And now what I realize is that I was actually grown up kind of in a sustainable lifestyle. And now it's like everybody's wanting to live that. And I'm like, oh, well, that's kind of interesting that is actually part of my foundation of my childhood, is doing that, and ran around barefooted all the time, skint up knees and no sunscreen. And it was just the way that it was. I grew up in the country, and it was just the way that it was. Yeah. And so now I'm like, oh, now it's like the way we were supposed to, you know, be living more so. And there's a lot that goes into that as well, right? Like the healthy way to get sun and different things. I'm not just saying go out and burn yourself, or, you know, eliminating seed oils and different things that actually is causing skin cancer, which that we will get into all of that as we go along. So there's a lot to come. And so that kind of going into a little bit of my background, but both of us, you know, and I think a lot of people maybe didn't have there's dysfunction there on some level, whether it's some people have more severe and some people have less. But I think that that's something that most people can coincide with, which I feel like is what a lot of yours getting into the play, which is getting into the inner child, and mine is the self-development, which is about having that internal relationship with yourself so that you can self-regulate and kind of come from an intuitive spot, which I think is that play as well. Do you know what I mean? That you like to, kind of a niche that you're driven to. Do you know what I mean? And so I feel like those like 2 merge together, but they merge together in different ways, but very similar ways. So there's like a lot more to come around that as well.
Yeah, and I think a lot of our connection was because we were on a healing journey, like side by side, you know? I think a lot of, like we've had parallel journeys kind of us realizing, because I come from a mental health background. Before I co-founded Creatopia, I was a qualified mental health professional for almost a decade, and really experienced what mental health does, or how mental health is defined in our mainstream. And I know this could be controversial, but I don't think that what we are told and what we are sold as mental health is really healing, right? And so from that's why I got into yoga. That's why I learned about hypnotherapy and what it actually means to heal through that. And I think we've both really connected on discovering our own healing journey, tailored to ourselves, by ourselves, right? Just through experience.
Right.
And we've bounced things off of each other. And that's why I'd like to keep coming back to you, because I know you know a lot more about certain things that I'm like, I need to talk to Cherie about some stuff. Or just like be around you, because I know that what you're exploring and like you're really going deep into like really questioning like what we're being told is organic, really questioning like what we're being told about the sun and different things like that, which we'll talk about later. But I think that's just been really fun to share that with you and to keep coming back and co-creating and seeing where we're at. Because I too, that there was sexual abuse in my home when I was younger, and I'll just keep it at that. But because of that, I've been very aware of the journey and what it means to heal mentally, but how that connects to your body and how that still informs your thought patterns if you're not aware of it, if you're not conscious of these things that have been within you. And again, going back to our big thing at Creatopia is what does safety mean, right? Like how do you actually feel safe within yourself if you haven't been able to process these things? Like if your mind is in fight or flight, if your mind is triggered by something and you haven't been able to process that, you're not safe to fully create and to just be your creator self. You're still just like kind of like copycat, and you're just sharing what you know from other places. So yeah.
Yes. So to go into like what you're saying too, is that it's a deep dive inside of yourself. And I mean, I can't tell you how much therapy, how many different modes of therapy, how many different groups, how many addiction groups, I've done so many layers. Right. And I've gotten to what I feel like is kind of niching into what has been most helpful for me. Everything has gotten me to another layer. But doing that internal family of origin work has been the game changer for me as far as the self-regulation, because it is a journey inside of yourself, like you were saying, which I believe that's what hypnosis does, is it helps you to funnel into a journey within inside of yourself. Yes. And then on the flip side, it's like, so now what do I do with this information? How do I use this? How do I self-regulate? How do I, when nobody else hears what I'm thinking about myself, and I show up in a room of people and I still feel alone, or I show up in a room of people and I don't feel good enough, what do you do with that? Right. So that's what I want to, we'll be talking about that more later.
Right. Yeah, how do you safely hold yourself through that?
Yeah, how do you be your own best friend?
Right.
How do you put yourself first, but not in a selfish way? Yeah. But where it's like to know where your boundaries are, to how to take care of you, that little girl that wasn't taken care of in different situations, right? But then also that play, which is so important, which connects you to all of those aspects of yourself too. You know, like I love to roller skate. I roller skated when I was a kid. I still love to roller skate. Do you know what I mean? As a 55-year-old woman, I still love to do that. Do you know what I mean? So why should I not do that? Right. You know, it's like, what do you love to do that you let go of because maybe now you think it's stupid, or somebody's going to judge you, or you think that you can't do it now because now I'm an adult and I can't do those things. But you really love doing those things, you know? So it's like, but bringing that play back into your life and that creativity. And we've talked about different things that we could maybe go do to put on the show, as far as like different playful things, you know, with the horseback riding and different things that we talked about. I'm like, oh my God, I love horses too, which is totally my little girl, because we had horses growing up as well. So, but it's like getting back to our true essence without judgment. But how do you do that? Because knowing it and doing it is two different things. Knowing I'm dysregulated and then trying to regulate myself is two different things. Right. Do you know what I mean? So it's like tapping into all of those
and
layers.
that's what I loved when I learned about hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy is really a deep meditation.
Correct. That's how I see it.
And it allows you to tap into just different realms of like your consciousness, so you're able to access stuff that's been locked because of trauma. But how we start the session, I don't know if you remember this, you create your sanctuary. You create your safe space in your mind. Because if your mind still thinks that you're not safe, it can't go back and feel what you need to feel. Because you're still going to be triggered and you're still going to be in that fight or flight. But if you first mentally, and this is just mentally, if you first just mentally create that sanctuary and that safe space, then your whole body can experience what's been locked up and what, like the things that you have repressed, for you to like efficiently process them. Mm-hmm. But if you cannot mentally feel safe, then your body will not go back to those memories and process them. And so again, like what does safety actually mean?
Right.
You know, and how do we embody that? Because you could be in the most pristine environment and like a mansion, you know, you could be wherever, but if you don't feel safe, if your mind doesn't, if there's something that's like off, you're not going to feel safe. So and that's what we'll be exploring more and more mm-hmm. as we go. But what it actually means to feel safe, especially with, I mean, we try not to get too political, but we have a president that is wanting to nuke Iran tomorrow, right? Like that's what he just said over Easter. It was Easter weekend, and that was his message to the world. So as Americans, as the world, like this could be a World War III. Like, how do we experience that, and what do we do with that in our day-to-day, right? Like, how do we continue to effectively show up to work? How do we, like, care for our kids? How do we, like, make a meal if we're triggered and we're like, but am I gonna die? You know? Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's what we'll be exploring more and more as we go. So why did we choose the name, The Art of Being Safe?
Well, I love the, I mean, in essence, if I think about the art of being safe, I think I get to create my life however I want to. So my life is a piece of art. It is my piece of art, right? Like mm-hmm. how I live in my home, how I live inside my body, how I live in the environment, what I decide to put on my body, what I decide to put in my body. All of this is, I am, you know, in essence, creating my art, which is me, mm-hmm. right? And then being, I love the word being, and as a matter of fact, I have a tattoo that says be on it, that I got 15 years ago or something, because it's like, you can add anything to be, right? Be safe, be cautious, be love, be happy, be joy, be whatever.
To be or not to be.
Correct. And so I love the fact that we added the word being in there, because being to me is being present. It's being in the moment. It's not doing and like out here. It's like it pulls me into being, like a deep breath, a deep exhale type thing. And then safe, I want to feel safe inside my body. I want to feel safe in the world. I want to feel safe when I interact with other people. And it doesn't mean that my trauma is not going to come up and PTSD reactions inside of myself, but to learn how to self-regulate so that I can be safe inside of myself and be proud of who I am and how I respond and show up in the world. So that's kind of how I'm dissecting it right now. Mm-hmm. How would you be dissecting it?
Yeah, I go back to mental health, and mental health also in the way of, or in the definition of the neurology of mental health. Something that therapists and mental health practitioners know, and I mean other people that know it, obviously, is that when your body is in fight or flight, you can't process logically.
Correct.
And you cannot create, you can't play, you can't allow yourself to just be. So for me, it's the art that you can express when you allow yourself to be safe, right? Like, again, our whole thing with Creatopia is, if we are not safe, we can't create and we can't play, because you're not you're not trusting, and you don't feel like you, and what that and how that puts you in a different mindset, right? Like if for some reason I didn't feel safe around you, I mean, we couldn't have this conversation, we
Right.
could not co-create. So
Right.
it's also that it's that we need to first feel safe so that we can trust others, so that we can freely express without feeling like we're going to be judged or something, and co-create, because I do think that co-creation is what is going to significantly impact our world in a positive way, and the co-creations that we continue to make with each other will like exponentially evolve us as a humanity. But if I'm judging you, or if you're judging me, or we tap into all these different divisions that are presented to us, right? Like I could judge you for whatever reason, but that then again it keeps me from co-creating.
Right. And ironically, what I have found is that usually if I'm judging somebody else of something, it's something that I have done or that I'm currently doing that I'm aware of that's unresolved in me. So in essence,
Right.
you are my mirror, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then with the finding people that are safe around you, it's also in finding safety inside yourself is when you will, in my opinion, is when I find people that I am safe around. Because if I don't feel safe, or I feel like somebody is judging me, or is harsh, or is critical of me, then I can either say something or I can walk away. But I need to make sure that I realize where my boundaries are,
Yes.
so that I am also creating a safe environment for myself, and and learning how to apply boundaries. And that if boundaries don't work, then I may have to walk away.
Right.
And if somebody sets a boundary with me and I don't adhere to maybe something, I don't agree with something that they say, they may have to walk away from me. So it's mutual, right? But it's understanding that usually if I am judging somebody else, it's because I need to.
Right. We're always
I
projecting.
need to look at something inside myself.
Well, we're always projecting, right?
Right.
There's this beautiful Mayan concept where I heard somewhere, where when they're speaking about somebody else, they don't have a you. Like there's no you in their vocabulary. I don't know if it's Mayan or some sort of indigenous Latin. I need to look it up. Come back soon for that. But what they say is that you are not separate from me.
Mm-hmm.
So there's only, like, they speak in first person when they're speaking about you, which I think is amazing, because it's so true. You're so right. Like we're always projecting, and we're always, and again, it goes back to those unresolved things, or those unconscious things that, like, your body is always telling you, like, whatever you're judging, like that's always you.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so just reiterating that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny, I had a thought when you were thinking, and then I was focusing on what you were saying and I lost it.
It's okay.
That's okay.
But yeah,
essentially
safety and safety and the whole sense of the self, of the body, mind, and soul, especially the environment we live in, especially here living in Houston in an urban environment, right? Just tapping into all those different levels of safety.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see, we only got 5 minutes left. Sorry. So let's talk a little bit about what we're going to be discussing the rest of the month. We wanted to start with
Earth Day stuff.
Earth Days, yes, because
so we
it's
have
April.
Earth Days coming up. I think it's April 22nd.
Mhm.
And so I am super excited about Earth Day, because Earth Day is not just about the earth, in my opinion, but it's the earth that we live in as well, which is ourselves and our home. And so it's encompassing all of that.
Mm-hmm. So just some of the topics that we'll be touching on are the overabundance of plastics, and how right now they've found microplastics in bees. And if you know anything about how important bees are, that's kind of alarming. Growing your own food,
garden, or going to markets and buying from farmers, buying local if you're not in the place to be able to have a garden. So there's that.
Mm-hmm. and then Earth Day. And for me, just Pachamama, right? And what that means in terms of our Mother Earth, right? We call her Mother Earth.
Well, she grows all things, right? Like, so if she has to be male or female, I'm going to pick female because she grows trees and allows bees to nectar on flowers. And I mean, it's a feminine growth, in my opinion. So yes.
And what that means, right? To reconnect to the earth, to be one with the earth, to not be afraid of the bugs and the animals and the existence that is just naturally there.
But be mindful of them, because some of them are. I had a brown recluse show up in a tent before when I was a brown recluse showed up in a tent before when I was off-grid camping. And so that was, you just need to be mindful of them too, because not all of them are
that friendly.
Especially in Texas, we have rattlesnakes and things that we just need to, Scorpios, just things that just to be mindful of too.
Yeah, but in reverence, right? And honor them and not feel like we need to kill them and attack them.
Yeah, because we need them in our garden.
Right.
If you have worms, and I do a lot of potted stuff at my house, gardening stuff, and if you have worms in your soil, that's a good sign. You want bees to nectar. So there's certain things that you definitely need as well. Like to coexist with in this world, like you're saying.
Yeah, and we'll be touching on, like you were saying now, and I do that a lot too, walk barefoot or run barefoot, and how you used to do that when you were younger, and how now it's a practice, right? You ground and you reconnect and you, what is it called? Because we're like energetic beings.
Grounding.
Yeah, just how that resets the whole electrical body of ourselves. Right. To be in touch with the earth. And
going back to the oneness is the frequency and the energy of everything, right? Like all the frequency, we're all connected in vibration and frequency. And it's like, the earth, the sun, the wind, the forest bathing. We talked about that as well with the earthing. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll be touching on those topics and also leaving y'all with just little practices or little things that you can tap into, like today, that you can start doing. I don't know if there was anything that you wanted to
I kind of just put a couple shows
now.
on. Seaspiracy is really great because it starts off with, it's a documentary on Netflix, and it talks about, he starts off with the straws, like why is everybody making a big deal about all the plastic straw things? This show had come out, I don't know, several years ago, and he backtrails and follows the money back to what's actually the number one thing polluting the ocean. I'm not gonna give it away, but it's very, very interesting. And then the other one, which is a new show that just came out, it's called Plastic Detox. I have not watched that yet. However, that is another show that if you want to watch while this series is going on, those are two things that help around understanding plastics and what's going on the earth a little bit different as well. So.
And that's what we'll really dive into in the next episode, the overabundance of plastics and how that is harming not only our earth and our ocean and our animals, but our human body as well, and how they've found plastic in all of the things at this point.
Yeah, hormone disruptors. I mean, it's huge. And it's hard to get away from 100% plastics, but I do believe there's places that plastics shouldn't be. So.
And we'll leave you with just little things that you can do to start just shifting that mindset. And we'll continue to share. So we'll be here every Monday at noon.
Live noon.
Central Time.
And then I will be uploading, I have a YouTube channel, it's Cherie Marie, which I will be uploading the actual clip later, but it won't be live on there. So if you want to watch us live, where you get to see all of our hiccups and ums and oohs and everything, tune in the Monday live, noon Central Time. And you get to see us like raw, like this. So.
This has not been AI generated. No. We are real people.
This is real people, and this is the very first time I've ever done this. So thanks for the support.
I think that's all. So today we just gave you a brief introduction, or an introduction of what we're doing and why we're so excited and how we've reconnected and continue to co-create, and how that really has. I feel like our whole life has just led us up to this, Like we've been preparing for this for a long time.
Yes, I feel like everything's coming together on a singular platform, which I love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for tuning in. today. This is our very first show. And we'll see you
Next
next Monday at noon.
Bye.